obstacles. That's where people are in the buy mode, is when we point out problems. Our power is in the problem, not in the solution. Let me say that again. For you new salespeople, for you service people that aren't used to selling, our power as salespeople is in the problem, not in the solution. We're going to talk about insurance sales and how we can obliterate the insurance sales objections. Obviously, we will never completely obliterate insurance sales objections. We understand that. People are going to say no for different reasons. Sometimes it makes sense that they say no, and sometimes it doesn't make sense that they say no. But we should always be equipped to have that conversation. Let's get started. So this session is focused on sales conversations, not service conversations. We've done a lot. Yesterday, we did a lot on service. Today, we're focused on sales conversations, okay? So while many of the items that we are going to discuss can be easily modified for a service conversation, it takes a sales mentality to effectively apply today's training points, the things that I'm going to talk about. Guys, you've spent a day and a half with me. I'm hoping that after this day and a half, you see the value that we bring in our 20 plus years of being insurance agents, of bringing information, knowledge, wisdom, experience, all that. If you want more information about Inspire Nation, very simple. Talk to our chatbot. I've got the link out here for our chatbot. You can click on the picture or you can click on the link after this training and find out about joining our membership. I don't believe that there's a better mentoring coaching program in the industry. They may be fancier, they may be shinier, they may be newer with all their modern up-to-date stuff, because I've been building this library for 20 years and I get it. And it's filled with a lot of stuff that you just won't find anywhere else. So if you want information about joining our membership, about signing up, about being mentored by me, my team, talk to our chatbot, go out to our website, inspirenation.org, and just check it out. Now, with that being said, that was my commercial. What are the average close rates for insurance? Well, lead to close is about 3%. So that means if I bought 100 leads, I'm probably going to close about 3% of those leads. Quote to close is about 12%, meaning for every person, if I did 100 quotes, now a lead doesn't mean I quoted you, it just means you were potentially someone I talked to. But a quote to close, from the moment I quote you to the moment I close you, industry-wide is about 12%. Quote to close for a referral is 30% or greater. So the better you are at overcoming objections, the better your close rate's going to be. And it doesn't matter if that's a referral, doesn't matter if that's somebody that asked for a quote, or if it doesn't matter if it's someone I reached out to. So lead to close is really about me reaching out. Quote to close is I finally got you on the phone and now I'm trying to get your information, and then maybe I got a referral. But either way, we want to be better. We want to close more than what we closed today. What are the primary objections that we hear in the insurance industry? Number one, the price is too high. Number two, I'll have to think about it. Number three, I need to talk to my spouse or my partner. Number four, I have it at work already. I don't need it. Number five, I want to look around some more. And then number six, well, now's not a good time to talk about it. So, just try to hit me back another time. In the Sales Objection Pocket Guide, I address each of these in detail, but I do want to go over some of this right now as we're going through our different training. The price is too high. You know when the price is really too high? When they have a claim and they don't have the coverage. But see, here's the problem. People don't expect to have a claim. So part of our issue is we're so busy offering solutions that we don't really understand where our true value lies. Our true value does not lie in offering solutions. Our true value lies in pointing out problems, making them aware of problems that they may not have even thought about, making them think about problems that they probably felt like, well, I don't need to think about this. It's no big deal. So we always start our problem solving, well, not problem solving, but problem identifying by pointing out the three buckets of money that insurance provides when a claim happens. Number one, money for your customer, money for them. We'll say money for you, the customer, money for you, your family, or your employees. This is money that's paid directly to you, your family, your employees. Two, money that's owed to others, money we're paying to other people on your behalf. And then number three, money to repair or replace what you choose to insure. That's the beginning of making sure that they understand that there are problems. Now, after we explain those three pots of money, and that conversation goes really simple. They'll call in, hey, I want to get a quote for auto insurance. No problem, I can take care of that for you. What has you looking today? Oh, I've decided, my rates are too high with the other company and I want to make sure that we're good to go. Okay, no problem. I understand that. Hey, before we get started, I do want to remind you that our insurance provides three buckets of money to all of our customers. Three buckets. That's money that's paid directly to you, your family, or your employees. Money that we end up paying on your behalf to others, and then money to repair or replace what you choose to insure. I want to make sure that we start out with that thought in mind. So as we go through our coverages and everything else, we can really identify what you need from a coverage standpoint, right? Because I know price is always going to be important, but I always want to make sure that if you have a claim, that claim can be covered as well. So you understand the three buckets of money? Yeah. Well, I didn't. No one's ever told it to me like that, but yeah, I get it now. Okay, good. Let's move on. Guys, I'm laying that foundation from the very beginning. So when we talk about making a decision, decisions should follow a specific pathway, okay? An emotional pathway. It should go, what are the facts? What are the goals? What are the problems or obstacles that's stopping me from reaching my goal? What are the solutions to the problems or obstacles? And then finally, how do I feel about it? Well, that's a logical approach, right? That's how it should look. So if you want to really think about putting this into some kind of order, just take your right hand. If you hold up your right hand, don't slap yourself in the face. We're not playing that game. But if you hold your right hand up and you start with your pinky, this is really the order that we're supposed to go in emotionally. This is the order that we're supposed to drive that conversation in. What are the facts? Where do you live? What kind of car do you drive? How many people are on the policy? How old are you? Have you had any tickets or accidents? These are the facts. Next are the goals. What are you hoping to accomplish today? Do you really want a cheaper price, or do you want a better price for the same coverage that you currently have? Or are you not concerned with coverage? So which one? Well, I want good coverage, but I want it at a cheap price. Okay, so then our goal is to find you the best coverage we can at a price that you're comfortable with. Yeah, okay. So what do you think can stop you from doing that? Obviously, we're not going to ask that way, but we're looking for obstacles. Hey, I want to make you aware of those three buckets of money that we talked about. The coverage that you currently have, you have 5,100. We consider that a weakness because we want every customer to have 100, 300. 100, 300 means that if you were to get into a situation or you have a claim or a lawsuit, there's enough money out there to be able to do this, to be able to do that, whatever the consequences are, right? As I'm going through this quote, I'm probably going to make you two separate quotes. One that shows you what we recommend that's going to be best for you, and then one that's going to show you what you decide you want to pay for, and then you decide which one of those is best for you. Because it's probably somewhere in the middle. There's probably some stuff that you really want on your policy, but you're not sure if you want to pay for it. And then there's some stuff that might be on your policy that you don't want to pay for. So I'm going to end up doing two quotes for you more than likely. And then those quotes are the solution. And then once I've done my facts, my goals, my obstacles, my solutions, then we should take a look at how we feel about it. Now, this is the logical order to make a decision in. Facts, goals, obstacles, solutions, emotions. Logical order. Here's the problem. Customers don't think logically. We have 5 steps in our selling process, but the customer has 8 steps in their buying process. Let me say that again. We as salespeople, we have 5 steps in our selling process. Facts, goals, obstacles, solutions, emotions. But the customer has 8 steps in their buying decision. So what is that? What are those 8 steps? Number 1, there was some change in their situation. I just got something from my carrier and my rates went up. I just had an accident and I'm afraid they're going to cancel me, so I'm trying to get some new insurance in place. I just added my young driver to the policy and my rates quadrupled. So there was some change in their situation. Second, that change caused some type of irritation. So they got emotional about the change. Third, they decided to go out and look at other options and choices so they can take back control of their situation. Oh no, my rates went up 50%. Man, that really pisses me off. I'm going to go research and see if I can find something a lot cheaper. Okay, so they have different goals. Their goal is to find something cheaper. Then they have to compare their options. So now they go out and they talk to you, they talk to Allstate, they talk to State Farm, they talk to Geico, they talk to Liberty, or they go out to a site and they put in all their information on that site and they get hit by 25 different agents who bought leads from that site. But they have a comparison problem. Okay, they have to compare all of the options and choices that are being presented to them. Then they have to eliminate the unwanted options and choices. So now I got hit with them. Which ones am I going to ignore? Which ones am I going to avoid? Which ones am I going to get rid of? Then after all that, they have a fear of making the wrong decision. I know they say they're the cheapest, and I want to go with the cheapest, but I don't know if they're a good company. That's when they start asking all these questions. So you presented all this quote to them and you busted your butt and you got the cheapest quote that you could and you did this and you presented it to them and you're like, I saved you $400, and they're like, yeah, but who is this company? I never heard of them. I don't know. It's not Liberty Mutual. It's not State Farm. It's not Geico. It's not Travelers. It's not Cincinnati. I don't know. It's not Progressive. I've never heard of this company. So now they get this fear of making the wrong decision. And now they have a fear of commitment. And then they have an expectation. So finally they say, yes, I'm going to go with you. You saved me some money. You explained everything. I'm going to go with you. So while we think it's clean and simple and, to the point, facts, goals, obstacles, solutions. Hey, let me ask you a question. What kind of car do you drive? And where do you live? And have you had any tickets or accidents? And how many drivers are going to be on the policy? And how many miles do you drive per year? What's your square footage of your home? And we think it's very clear, very simple. We're just gathering data, right? And then we take the data and we put it into the system, and then the system spits out a solution for us, and we present the solution and can't understand why the customer won't buy it. Meanwhile, the customer is going through all of this rigmarole, as my grandmother used to say, going through all of this, trying to figure out if they're doing the right thing. So we need to control what the customer is going through, not just what we are going through as the salesperson. So how do we go about doing that? First and foremost, we have to understand where they are in the process. Each finger represents a different emotional level, and each emotional level is related to an action that buyer is going to take. When we're at the facts, what are they doing? They're researching. So when we're first talking to them, if we're very generic about their research, sure. What are you looking for today? No problem. Yeah, let me throw that in the system, see if I can find you some. They actually want more information. What do we do when we research? We want more information. So that means a part of our conversation in the beginning has to be asking questions. It has to be delivering things that we do, not just taking data. Because remember, while we're in the facts mode, they're in the research mode. Now we gather our facts. Now they move to the goal. So we've got all the information. They want to know what's next. What's next, right? We're in the goals. They're in the shopping phase. Okay, I've given you all my stuff. I guess I'm going to have to give it to Liberty Mutual. I'm going to have to give it to Geico. I'm going to have to give it to Travelers. I'm going to have to give it to Allstate because I'm still shopping. Because all I've done is research and now I'm still shopping. When are they in the buy? Notice that middle finger. When are they in the buy mode? They're in the buy mode when you've identified a problem. So you say, you know what, I'm looking at your policy, and I'm going to tell you right now, if I were grading this policy, I'd have to give you a C minus. A C minus? Why would you do that? Well, first and foremost, your uninsured and underinsured motorist is horrible. You know, you're at 50, which means if you were in an accident and someone hit you and they didn't have insurance or they didn't have enough insurance, you have to pay for your own rehab, and you're going to lose your loss of income and legal fees and all that. This isn't going to do anything for you. In my situation, this is a real problem. You've got $20 per day rental. $20 per day rental isn't going to get you anything but a scooter. You've got a problem here with this. I know you're looking for a cheaper price, but you've also got some issues that if you have a claim, that price isn't going to be important at all, because you're going to have a lot more money out of pocket than what you're going to be dealing with here. Obstacles. That's where people are in the buy mode, is when we point out problems. Our power is in the problem, not in the solution. Let me say that again for you new salespeople, for you service people that aren't used to selling. Our power as salespeople is in the problem, not in the solution. Identifying the problem. When you go to a doctor's office and that doctor says, oh, we ran some tests on you and this came back and this came back, that doctor now has power. Oh my God, I didn't even know I had all these problems. What can we do, doc? What can we do? Now the doctor starts to offer solutions. But you know what happens the moment you offer someone a solution? They go back into shop mode. So they move from shop when they're in the goals, and they go back into shop mode when you offer them a solution. Why? Because if you can find a solution, they probably can find a solution cheaper. That's what people think nowadays. Think about this. How many times have you walked into Walmart and you were looking for something and you saw something at Walmart? Walmart was right there. It was right in front of you. You could just pick it up, take it to the counter and buy it, but you don't. What do? You jump on Amazon and see if you can find it cheaper. Am I lying? No, I'm not lying, because that's what we do. The moment we know that there's a solution, we immediately start looking for a price. Is it cheaper? Can I find it someplace cheaper? So what does that mean for us? That means for us, we need to dwell in the problem, not skip past the problem and skip the loo to the solution, because all we're doing is turning our buyers into shoppers. So that means if we're not pointing out policy weaknesses, if we're not explaining consequences, if we're not doing video proposals that really explain, look, you're going to have this problem, this problem, this problem, and this problem. I can correct some of this, but you need to know what you have in place right now is a problem. If we don't dwell in the problem a little bit more, not even a little bit, I dwell in there a lot. But for some of you, if you just start dwelling a little bit more, you will find your sales increasing. Because the moment you offer a solution, you just made that person a shopper. The fewer the identified problems, the easier the solution is to obtain, the more price shopping happens. When your emotions are out of order, fear of making a bad decision causes paralysis by analysis. So that means if I believe that, this is pretty easy to get in place, I already have a fear of making a bad decision. You really haven't told me any problems at all. So why would I spend time buying from you when you sound just like the person down the street? So what do? How do we fix this? You have to control your customers' emotions, because most of them are just out of order. Anything you put emotion in front of is magnified. So if I put emotion in front of my goals seem much bigger than what they really are. If I put emotion in front of my problems seem much bigger than what they really are. If I put emotion in front of my solutions seem much better and easier than what they really are. Well, shoot, if you can get me that price if you can get me that coverage at that price, I probably can go down the street and get it someplace else better. So I want the emotions to be in front of the problem, not in front of the solution. The solution should be the blowover. Well, you know what? Don't worry about it. I can solve it. I just need you to, throw your credit card down here. We'll go ahead and get this in place. We'll go ahead and get this solved, and we can get those nasty problems off your plate. You really are supposed to blow past the solutions because you lived in the problems. So how do you control your customers' emotions? Ask questions to determine where that customer is in their decision-making process. Identify emotional points, actions, and thoughts. You know what? This is the same thing that happened to me last year. I know I should have got better coverage, but I didn't, and then I had an accident. Boom! That's an emotional moment. You don't want to get caught in that accident again without the right coverage. So if we ask enough questions and we dwell in the problem enough, they will tell us what it takes to close them. They will let us know. You know what? Every insurance agent I talk to is always trying to upsell, cross-sell, and do something else with me, and none of them are really benefiting me. When you say none of them are benefiting you, what are they not doing? Well, they're just trying to give me something that doesn't make sense. Okay, well, anything that I explain to you, I'm going to tell you how it's going to bite you in the butt if you have a claim. Okay, I'm not just going to try to sell you something. Oh, you should really have this identity theft. That's a nice thing to have. Oh, you know what you should really think about adding? You should think about adding umbrella. That's a pretty cool thing to have. Guys, that's not living in the problems. That's not making it. Look, if you have an accident and you already own a business and you got 3 trucks on the road, you know what a lawyer's going to do? They're going to look at you as deep pockets. That's what they're going to look for, deep, deep pockets. And they're going to take all of the insurance money, and then they're going to say, he's probably got more deep pockets. So let's go after other stuff too. What I can do, what I can fix, I can put an umbrella out there so that when they do go after your deep pockets, when they do go after your business, when they do go after your home, when they do go after your retirement, when they do go after your assets, we've got something in place that can at least put some protections in place so they can't get everything right away. Does that make sense? Yeah. Guys, I don't live in the solution. I live in the problem. If you want to be a better salesperson, live in the problem, not the solution. You want to identify emotional points, actions, and thoughts. You want to ask standard beginning fact-finding questions that allow you to gauge where that customer is in the buying journey. You want to understand the biggest fear that customer has is the fear of making a bad decision. Please understand, the biggest fear your customer has is the fear of making a bad decision. It is not the fear of finding the cheapest coverage. That's what they use. That's what they say. But their biggest fear is making a bad decision. Because if you go out and you get a cheap policy and then your wife has a claim and she's not covered, do you really think she's going to be like, well, at least you saved $75. I know I can't get my car repaired. I know I can't get my health insurance to kick it this in, or I can't do that, or I can't do that, but at least you saved $75. Do you really think that's going to be her response? No, it's not. So Dave, while I understand you're trying to save money, I get it. Money is tough. Times are hard. The biggest thing, the biggest mistake you could make is to make a bad decision with your coverage. So you end up spending 3 times more money when you have a claim than what you saved. I can't tell you how to spend your money, but what I can tell you is what's going to bite you in the butt if you have a claim. That's what I can tell you. Understand, guys, your customer's biggest fear is in making a bad decision. So how do you guide them? You use questions to guide the customer back to the decision flow, back to where you need them to go. Let's talk about a couple of things before we get to the questions. I said earlier, anything you put emotion in front of is artificially magnified. So guess what? I'm living in the problems because I want their emotions to be in the problems, because I want their problems to be magnified in their mind. I don't want my solutions to be magnified. I want their problems to be magnified. Understand something else. All things being equal, a prospect will always go with the lowest price. So that means if I sound like every other agent that they've talked to, there's nothing different about me. There's nothing that I told them about my agency. There's nothing that separates us. We are just another cashier. So this is what the State Farm agent said. This is what the Farmers agent said. This is what the Geico agent said. This is what the Liberty Mutual agent said. This is what the Travelers agent said. This is what the Hartford agent said. This is what the Safeco. I sound just like everybody else that's out there. All things being equal, a prospect will always go with the lowest price. Another part of that is all things being equal, a customer will stay with their current relationship. I didn't have that on my slide, but it should be there. All things being equal, a prospect will go with the lowest price. All things being equal, a customer will stay with their current relationship. Why should I move? You didn't do anything special. You didn't do anything unique. There's nothing outstanding about you. Why should I get up and move? If you can't help a prospect identify problems, you sound like every other agent they already talked to. Does that make sense? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the questions. So when we talk about asking questions, here's what you need to understand. Most agents just follow the order the questions are asked in the rating tool or on the fact finder. That's it. They just go down the list. They never actually listen to what the prospect is saying or what the prospect feels is important. The agent doesn't ask enough questions to have any ammunition to overcome an objection. The agent doesn't ask questions that guide a customer through the buying decision. Every prospect should have the choice to get two quotes: what they think they want and what you as an insurance professional recommend that they have. Guys, if you're not doing two quotes, shame on you. Well, Billy, you don't understand. I've got 20 people that want quotes. Well, what you don't understand is why is customer number 17 more important than customer number 6? Or why is customer number 4 more important than customer number 9? Why? None of them are more important than the other one unless the premium is just so damn big and you're going to be able to send your kids to college. But in that customer's mind, they're just as important. That renter is just as important as that multi-home RV vacation property person. Usually it only takes a couple of seconds more to print out a second quote, one that has your agency standards and one that's based on their apples to apples or whatever the customer says they want. Now you can have a better conversation as you discuss the two quotes. Let's get to the questions. There are 6 questions that we've identified that are the most important opening questions. The most important. When someone says, I want to get a quote, they're a referral, you meet them out somewhere, they call into the office, doesn't matter. We're going to go through these 6 questions. Number 1, how did you hear about our agency? A friend of mine found you on Google. I read something. I don't know. I was going through the yellow pages online. I saw your card sitting at a restaurant. How did you hear about our agency? Because how they heard about your agency a lot of times determines how much leverage you have with them. Now, if you call them because they were an internet lead, obviously you're not going to ask that question. You're going to ask, well, why are you unhappy with your current agency? Why are you shopping for insurance? You know, that's what you're going to ask. But if they reached out to you or you just dealt with them in some kind of way other than an internet lead or something like that, how did you hear about our agency? How did you find our agency? You guys were number 1 on Google My Business. Okay, well, good, because we do a lot with that. You know, we got a lot of reviews that are out there. We got a lot of information. Every question should have some comment from your agency about your agency. How did you hear about our agency? I found you guys online. Do you happen to know if that was on Google, on Facebook? Was that on TikTok, Instagram? Was it just an article? Do you happen to know what it was that you were reading or looking at? Oh, it was an article. Good. You know what? My agency owner writes a lot of blog posts, a lot of articles. They are really, really up on all of this. They are true experts in our field. They do a lot of speaking, a lot of everything. A lot of agents come to them for training. So I'm glad you were able to find out a little bit about us by finding us online. Every question should have something about your agency. All things being equal, the prospects are going to go with the lowest price. So I'm saying things already that give you an idea of who we are. Next, why are you unhappy with your current agency? Oh my God, this question is so important and agents don't ask it. We think it's because they want a cheaper price. And in actuality, why are you unhappy? Well, they took my rates up, and then when I call them all the time, they never answer. I've left several messages. Nobody's gotten back in touch with me. Nobody explained why my rate went up, you know? So I figure I might as well just go out and shop for some insurance and see if I can get a cheaper rate. In the customer's mind, the whole focus is to get a cheaper rate, but they just told you it was bad customer service. Because if the person had actually answered the phone and explained the rates, that person may not have shopped. If they had got a call back, that person might not have shopped. If they had got any kind of communication from the agency, if they had got an offer to do a policy review on that 60-day notice or that 150-day notice, they may not have shopped. So they're telling you up front why they are actually shopping. It's not just my rate went up. And sometimes it is. Why are you shopping? Well, they went up 30% on my rate. Oh, Did they explain that to you? Did they talk to you? Did they call you about that? No, I just got my renewal and no. Well, one of the things about our agency, if you have a rate increase, because again, the carriers decide what the rate will be. We definitely influence what information the carriers have, but it's the carriers that decide. One of the things about us is anytime our customers have a rate increase, we're going to contact you. You're going to get an offer every year to do a policy review. We're going to try to make sure that you schedule something. We're going to make sure that we respond by email, by phone, by text. We definitely are going to try to make sure that even if you do have a rate increase, you will always understand that we're here to communicate that and try to figure out why and see if we can do anything about it. Guys, you're already planting the seed to overcome objections before those objections even come up. Number 3. So what's most important to you today? Is it price? Is it your coverage options? Or is it my professional recommendations? Oh, price. So just to be clear, if I got you some half-ass coverage, but I got it at a cheap price, that's good for you. That's going to suffice. No. I mean, I want some good coverage too. Okay. So that I'm clear, you want the best coverage that you can get at a price that's comfortable for you. Is that correct? Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Okay, well, good. That's why I'm going to give you my professional recommendations so that we can say, this is probably the best coverage for what you're looking for. I don't know if you can afford it or if you can't. If not, we can modify and see what you can afford. But I just need to know that you also want good coverage along with the best price that's comfortable for you. Is that correct? Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, good. I can do that. So when are you looking to get a new policy in place? Well, you know what? I'm just looking right now. I'm thinking about buying a car down the road, and I just wanted to see what the price was going to be for that car. Guys, how many times have we done that? How many times have you busted your butt getting a quote together, calling carriers, especially if you're one of those agencies that go directly to the carrier every time? You don't have a rater, so you go directly to the carrier every time, and then you come back and the person says, oh man, these are really good. I'm going to hold on to these. If I decide to get that car, I will definitely call you back. Are you kidding me right now? Because we didn't ask. When are you looking to get a new policy in place? Well, I'm definitely looking to get one, probably by the end of the month. So basically I'm going to get this together for you, but you're really not ready to move on this until the end of the month. Is that correct? Yeah, I'm not ready to make a decision on that yet. Okay, good. I'll get everything in place for you. You know what that tells me? This is now a C priority. I have A, B, and C. A, I need to get on your shit right now. I need to get your stuff done right now, this moment, because you need this quote and you need it because you're closing tomorrow or you're trying to drive off the lot. Then there are my B. Within the next week, I need to make sure that this is done. I've got a little leeway, I got a little time here. I need to make sure this is done. Then there are my C. If it's over a week or two, I'm going to go ahead and get the quote, get it together, maybe have the VA do the quote. I'll email it out to you, do whatever, send you the appointment link, make sure that we're doing all that. But I'm not chasing you down. I'm not going to start chasing you until maybe 10 days before you told me that you're going to get this. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a task for my VA that says, go ahead and get the quote out. Go ahead and get everything together, email it over to them, send the appointment, but schedule another appointment for 10 days out for me to actually start following up with phone, email, text, because that's when it's important to them. So number 4, when are you looking to get a new policy in place? Number 5, if I find you the best coverage at a price you're comfortable with, are you able to make a decision today, or is there someone else that should be a part of this conversation? This eliminates that, I got to think about it. Oh, I need to talk to my spouse. Oh, I need to talk to my partner. I get to know up front. If I find you the best coverage at a price you're comfortable with, are you able to make a decision today, or is there someone else that should be a part of this conversation? Well, my wife is really part of this conversation as well. Well, actually, I'm doing the shopping, but my husband is the one who actually makes the decision. Or no, I'm the person who closes everything down. I'm like, so you don't have to talk to your spouse or your partner or anything. You're the one who makes this decision. Yep, I am. Well, guess what they just did? They just painted themselves into a corner. So I've eliminated one of those questions of one of those obstacles of, I got to talk to somebody. You just told me you're the decision maker. Now, let's say you tell me, yeah, there's somebody else. I got to talk to my spouse about it. I got to talk to my husband. I got to talk to whatever, my partner. Okay, no problem. Here's one of the things that I always do to make sure that we're really explaining everything clearly. I do a video proposal. Okay, so I'm going to write everything up, get it all together, email you over stuff, but I'm also going to send you a video that I created explaining all of the coverages, explaining all of the problems, all the solutions, everything that we've come up with. And the reason why I do that is because I do this every day. This is my job. So for me to tell you, take 20 minutes, 10 minutes explaining it to you, and then expect you to go back and be able to explain it to your partner, to your spouse, that's unrealistic. And so then what happens is you're probably going to miss some very important details that you're going to need to make a decision. So now you guys end up making a bad decision because you don't have all the details. And I know making a bad decision is always one of my prospects' biggest fears. So I'm going to help eliminate that by doing a video proposal that you guys can watch whenever you want to watch. You can forward it to them. You can watch it together, but it's me explaining based on my professional recommendations what you need, what you should have, and all the problems and solutions that go with this. Are you good with that? If I do a video proposal? Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome. I would love that. And here's what's really neat about the video proposal. Most of my customers, most of my prospects, they look at it at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So even when I send it over to you, I know you're in the middle of your workday. You're a restaurant manager. I know you're not going to take the time to watch this. And if you do watch it, you're going to be distracted. You can go home tonight and watch what I'm saying and share it with your spouse or share it with your partner. And now you guys are getting the real story of what's going on. How does that sound? Oh, that sounds good. That sounds great. Okay, good. After you decide to do business with our agency, can I count on you to write a short Google review for us? If you decide to do business with us, if we make you happy, we find you the coverage, we find you the price, we get you everything you need, you want to take care of us, can I count on you to write a short Google review for us? Yeah, absolutely. You take care of me, I'll absolutely take care of you. Guys, just think about these questions. If we ask these questions consistently, think about how many problems we will overcome. How many objections we blew out the door before they even had a chance to become an objection. So we start eliminating objections in the fact-finding part of the initial conversation. Now, here's the problem. If you're one of those agencies that you're rushing, you're not selling, you're a cashier, so you're just collecting data, right? Just like they go through a grocery store, milk, bread, cheese, butter, cheese nips, peanut butter, jelly. Okay, the total will be $22.90. If that's you as a salesperson, then you're not really a salesperson, because salespeople talk. We run our mouth. I've been talking to you for 8 hours for the last 2 days, or close to 8 hours for the last 2 days. You know why? Because I'm a salesperson. And salespeople, we run our mouth. That's what we do. We feel like we have the best recommendations. We have the best information. We have the best knowledge. We have the best wisdom. And we're arrogant enough to want to share it with you and not understand. We don't understand why you wouldn't take our recommendations. That's what a salesperson is. And that's why I told you in the beginning, this training was geared toward a sales mentality, not a service mentality. Now, if you're a service person that has a sales mentality, that's even better, because they're calling in and you're using these questions and you're using some version of this to have a better conversation with them. You're not just milk, bread, cheese, butter, peanut butter, jelly. You're actually having good conversations. Look, you don't have the right coverage for your home. Your additional living expenses. Think about, okay, just look at this. So we have agencies in California. What's going on in the Palisades as of this recording right now? Homes in Los Angeles are burning. Additional living expenses. Additional living expenses are a percentage of the value of your home. You think those people that have been burned out of their homes, you think that additional living expense is important to them now? Hell yes, it's important to them now. So your home should have been $1.2 million, but you insured it for 750 because you were trying to save money. So you lied about your square footage, or you did whatever else, or you and the agent went in cahoots together. Who knows? But now your home is burned down. You get 10%. So now you got $75,000 to last you until your home is rebuilt, or until you can, to rent someplace, or to try to lease another home. Well, all the other homes in the area are burned down too. So where are you going to go? You're going to go to Los Angeles, which is expensive as hell, right? But you only got $75,000. However, if you had insured your home properly for the $1.2 million that it should have been insured for, you now have $120,000. So while we think these things are unimportant, I've been on catastrophe teams. I've been out in claims where tornadoes and fires and floods and all those things happen. I've seen the difference between having a home that's properly insured and underinsured, where you're getting 50% replacement at actual cash value versus getting 75% replacement. 75% replacement at replacement cost. See, a lot of times we don't sell insurance because we don't know what insurance does. I was so blessed when I came in the industry. I had an agent named George Gray. He was my mentoring agent. I came in as an Allstate agent. My first week or two that I was an Allstate agent, George said, I want this kid to go out on a catastrophe team. I wasn't a kid. I was 41 years old. I just retired from the military, but you get it. He said, I want this kid to go out on a catastrophe team because I want him to know what we're actually selling. So I went to Oklahoma. They had tornadoes in Oklahoma. I went and spent a week in Oklahoma on a catastrophe team, being with the adjusters, writing a check, assessing things, doing whatever, delivering a death check. It was the best experience I could ever have in my life to be an insurance agent, because now I know when I'm having a conversation, it is not about price. It is about the claim, because I've been there at the moment that a person had a claim. I've been there when a loved one left you money that you didn't even know was coming. You weren't sure how you were going to even bury them, but there was a $250,000 check that they had left because they had $250,000 in life insurance that you knew nothing about. Guys, if you want to be a good salesperson, you have got to understand insurance is about the claim. It is not about the price. It is about the price to the customer. It should not be about the price to the agent, which is why we talk about policy weaknesses, which is why you have agency standards, which is why we talk about consequences, which is why we talk about summary emails that have the words written on them, consequences, weaknesses. Here's what you need to know. It's the same thing when you're talking about sales. You're actually getting a quote from someone. You're on the phone. Are you rushing to just get the quote, or are you actually trying to sell something? And there's a difference between someone who does a quote and a salesperson. And a lot of salespeople, or people who call themselves salespeople, are really just quoters. And we know people who go, man, I can get a lot of leads and I can quote them and I can talk to them, but I can't sell them. Well, you're not selling them because you're not living in the problems. You're living in the solution. Oh, I found you a cheap price. Okay, that's great. If you can find me a cheap price, so can the guy down the street. So can the gal down the street. They can find me a cheap price too. So you just turned them into shoppers because you found them a cheap price and you didn't have any kind of conversation with them. So these are the 6 most important questions, guys, that you can ask up front. These should be on your fact finders. This should be what you train. How did you hear about our agency? And then you should have some comment that explains why they were able to find you. Oh, you were referred by Dave? Yeah, Dave is a great real estate agent. He's one of our friends. He sends us a lot of business because he knows we're going to take care of his customers. Why are you unhappy with your current agent or your current agency? Oh, because, they never answer my calls. They never do this. They raise my rates every year. They never call me back. I told them to add a car. They didn't add the car, and I had a claim, and now all of a sudden, find out why they're unhappy. What's the most important thing to you today? Price, coverage, or my professional recommendations? 9 times out of 10, yours is going to be price. This is your time to overcome that price thing by saying, so you're saying if I got you some just really bad coverage, but I got it at a really cheap price, you're okay with that. Well, no, 9 times out of 10, they're going to laugh. No, I want some decent coverage. I want some good coverage. I just want it at a cheap price. Perfect. So that's why my professional recommendations are going to be so important. I'm going to try to find you the best coverage I can at a price that you're comfortable with. Does that make sense? Can we move forward with that one? Yeah, that's good. So you just minimized price when you do that. So when are you looking to get a new policy in place? Well, right now I'm thinking about buying me a Lamborghini, but it's kind of hard right now on my job at 7-Eleven. But when I do, you can best believe you're going to be the person I call. So if I find you the best price or the best coverage at a price that's comfortable for you, are you the decision maker on this, or does someone else need to be involved in this conversation? Nope, I'm the guy. I'm the gal. Or, yeah, I do need to run this by my wife. I do need to run this by my partner. Okay, great. I'm going to do a video proposal that's going to make it easy for everybody. So after you decide to do business with us, and I found you everything you want and you're happy and you're good to go, would you be willing to write us a Google review about your experience with our agency? Oh, absolutely. You take care of me, I will take care of you. Does that make sense, guys? Overcoming an objection starts with you. If you don't believe in your product and the value of your product, if you can't sell it, or you can't disagree with anyone that challenges your product or your price, you're not going to overcome an objection. So you tell me, oh, Billy, my home went up $2,000. I can't afford that. Well, Joe, here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay. First, I'm going to explain the 5 things I can do. But here's one thing I can tell you about your price going up. You live in an area right now where wildfires are running rampant. Houses are burning down. People are being displaced. We want to be able to put you back in the same quality, put you in some places very similar to where you live. Because of everything that's going on, I can't do that for what you're currently paying. I can't do it. So your home is probably going to be $2 million to replace. I'm asking you to chip in an extra $2,000 while I chip in the rest, while we cover everything else, including replacing all your stuff, including making sure you got a place to live while we're replacing and rebuilding, including if there are any legal costs that we can have money for that. I'm asking you to chip in $2,000 while I cover all the rest of this. I know it may seem like a lot to you, but just imagine how much we're paying out. You see, I don't care what the price is. I can challenge what you're disagreeing with because I know you're only paying a percentage of what you would be paying if you were self-insuring. Now, does that mean I'm going to save everybody? No, it does not. But does it mean I don't believe in my product? No, that doesn't mean that either. So how do you believe in insurance products? Number 1, read the actual policy you sell. Don't just rely on what you hear from others in the insurance field or other insurance folks. Do you know 90% of the folks that are on this call have never actually read an insurance policy? Yeah, you've seen the brochures and you hear what Judy is saying on the side and you hear what Dave is saying and you hear what you were taught in class, but you've never actually read an insurance policy. Next thing, if you ever have an opportunity to deliver a death benefit check, do it. I promise you, go out with someone who delivers a death benefit check. Call your companies that have a life insurance and say, look, I'd love to go out with one of the people who's delivering a death benefit check or having a conversation. They don't deliver them in person anymore. A lot of times they do a bank ACH, but they still have the conversation. I'd love to be on a conversation, to be on a 3-way call with whoever your person is that's talking to the person about this death benefit. I promise you, you will never be price focused again in your career. Never. If you have a chance to go on a catastrophe team, I'm in Texas. So obviously we have a lot of stuff going on in Texas with floods and hurricanes, and we're right next to Louisiana, and we're down the street from Florida, and we're up the street from Oklahoma. So we have a lot of stuff going on. And I'll volunteer to go out on these catastrophe teams. If you ever get that chance, do it. I promise you, you will never be price focused again in your career. Talk to customers that have had a positive claim experience, and then talk to customers that have had a negative claim experience. And you'll see that 8 out of 10 times it was because the customer didn't have the proper coverage to protect their quality of life. They didn't have the proper coverage because they chose saving money over coverage options. They didn't have the proper coverage because the agent that sold the policy or processed the policy didn't explain what would happen if a claim were to happen, or the customer never received anything in writing that expressed the agent's concern about the coverage options. I promise you, you talk to someone who had a negative claim experience, one or more of these 4 things happened. Do you want to be that person? Do you want to be the agent that didn't offer them the coverage that's going to best protect their quality of life? Do you want to be the agent that said, okay, I'm just going to give you the cheapest policy. Good luck. Do you want to be the agent that didn't explain what would happen if a claim were to happen when they chose this coverage? Do you want to be the agent that never sent anything, never offered them a customer policy review, never expressed to them any concern whatsoever about the decisions they were making? Do you want to be that agent? Hopefully not. I walked you through the customer journey. I've explained the technical pieces of it. I've explained what you need to do. I've explained the conversations. I've explained how you can put the conversations on templates, email templates. I've explained how you do your video. I explained how you do all those things. You don't need to be that agent. You don't have to be that agent. You choose to be that agent. And you know why you choose? Because you're not time blocking. You feel like every customer on the phone, I need to get them on and off in 2 minutes. So when you're calling your people back, you're fitting them in. Well, I got a few minutes between this and between that, so I guess I'll call this customer and see if they pick up. Oh, hell, they picked up. What do I do now? I only got 3 minutes to my next appointment. Because you didn't time block. You didn't say between 10 and 12, I'm calling all of my quotes and I'm going to have a conversation. Right? So now you call me, you make 2 phone calls and you spend 45 minutes talking to your customers and going over this. Well, the other customers, you didn't get to them. Well, that's what tomorrow's for. That's what this afternoon is for. Don't be that agent. Like I said in the beginning, when I started this, so let me go back up to the top because I think a lot of you might have missed this part of it. Today's session is focused on sales conversations, not service conversations. While many of the items we discussed today can be easily modified for service, it takes a sales mentality to effectively apply today's training points. If you don't have a sales mentality, you just spent an hour or whatever you spent with me listening to me run my mouth and it won't make a difference. Maybe there's something that you'll take away. Maybe there's something between the rate increase conversation, the 5 things that you can do, the 7 reasons that rates go up, between the sales training that we're discussing here today. Maybe there's something that you can take away from that. Maybe you'll start asking better questions. Maybe you'll think about, what is this person really saying to me? Where are they in the process? Are they irritated? Are they still researching? Maybe you'll say, you know what, I do need to live more in the problems. I do need to make them aware of the consequences. I do need to make sure that they understand if they make this decision, what that looks like at the moment of a claim. Maybe you do. Maybe you're looking at, hey, how can I incorporate these 6 questions into my opening? And more importantly, how can I talk about each one of these and add value to it? So let's go back over here and let's look at these 6 things. The primary objections insurance professionals hear: the price is too high. Well, guess what? If you're asking the questions the way that I asked, if you're using some variation of what I talked about, you'd never eliminate price as a problem, but you can reduce price. So you're telling me if I get you a cheap coverage or bad coverage, but I get it at a really cheap price, you're okay with that? No, I want this. Okay, so you just minimize price. I'll have to think about it. Are you the decision maker on this, or should someone else be the decision maker on this? Someone else is involved. No, I'm the decision maker on it. Okay, so just to be clear, if I find you great coverage at a price that you're comfortable with, when are you looking to get this policy in place? When are you looking to do this? In the next week or two. Okay, so I'm assuming that you're only going to give yourself a week to think about it. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so I'm going to explain everything. I'm going to go through everything. Hopefully I can reduce that time so that by the time we finish this conversation, you'll understand the problems I'm solving for you and we can get moving on this. I need to talk to my spouse or my partner. Okay, no problem. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a video proposal so that your partner is hearing the exact way that I'm explaining it to you. So your partner can understand the problems that I'm eliminating. So your partner can ask the questions that they need to ask and get the answers that they need to get answered. So I'm going to prepare this proposal for you. Oh, great. I have it at work. Well, you know, a second opinion never hurt anybody. So for me to take a look at this, for me to walk you through, for me to explain, if nothing else, I can point out weaknesses or potential problems that you have, and you can take it back to your agent. You have a second set of eyes at least looking at this. I want to look around some more. So let me ask you a question. If I find you the coverage that you feel like you need, I give you options like what you say you want versus what I recommend. If I find you the coverage, find you the price, you're the decision maker. Can you tell me what you're looking around for? Because if you're looking for a cheaper price, you already told me that you were more concerned with coverage, or that you were concerned with getting good coverage at the best price. I'm an independent agent. I have multiple carriers. So it's probably going to be pretty difficult for you to find a price that's extremely below what we do because we have so many carriers. So what is it that you're looking around for, just so I'm clear? Well, I don't know. I'll tell you what, you go ahead and do the quote and then we'll take a look at it. Perfect. Well, now's not a good time to talk about it. When are you looking to get this policy in place? Oh, I need to get it in place in the next couple of days. So that means that at some point we have to make this a priority to talk about. If we don't make it a priority to talk about, then it's never going to be a good time. And then you're going to just end up either renewing or taking some broken policy just so you can say, I got it in time. So here's what I can do for you. Let's go ahead and schedule a time right now. It can be early in the morning. It can be a little later in the afternoon. Let's go ahead and schedule a time right now that's convenient for both of us where we can talk about it. And in the meantime, if you can get me over your declarations page, which is the page that shows the current coverage that you have, I can start working on this now. So when we do talk, we can spend less time talking about it. Guys, there's always a way to overcome an objection. There's always a way. We just have to think about it beyond price. We have to apply some of the things that we talked about today. Guys, you've spent a day and a half with me. I'm hoping that after this day and a half, you see the value that we bring in our 20 plus years of being insurance agents, of bringing information, knowledge, wisdom, experience, all that. If you want more information about Inspire Nation, very simple. Talk to our chatbot. I don't believe that there's a better mentoring coaching program in the industry. They may be fancier, they may be shinier, they may be newer with all their modern up-to-date stuff, because I've been building this library for 20 years and I get it. And it's filled with a lot of stuff that you just won't find anywhere else. So if you want information about joining our membership, about signing up, about being mentored by me, my team, talk to our chatbot, go out to our website, inspirenation.org, and just check it out.